I want you to know a few things if you are aiming for prelims and aiming to clear it in one go. All right, and there are some things that you must focus on. Some of these things will have a very direct and tangible impact on your prelims preparedness. The others will be more psychological, but they are important foundational principles that you should know. One thing that all of us must agree to here in this class is that, see, prelims preparation is a or the civil services preparation itself is a very tightly controlled project, which means that if you lose a day, if you lose a week, if you lose a month, you are done for that year. Be very clear with this. If you lose a day, you do lose a week, or you lose a month, you are done for that year, which means that you probably don't need to look at your watch. You need to change the calendar on the wall. Let us be very brutal and let us be very factful about it. That you probably not just need to just look at your watch, you may need to change the calendar of your wall if you're not realizing that how time sensitive your preparation is, which means that, so few things are something that you must keep in mind. And the first thing that I want all of you to keep in mind, बच्चों, is जो आज का काम है वो आज करना है. Right, the first thing that you must keep in mind is that if you want to clear prelims in the appearing year in 2023, all right, first thing is that please finish off today's work today. Do not let today's work pile up to tomorrow and tomorrow's work pile up to day after tomorrow. There is never any better day to start something or to accomplish something than is to today. Today is the best day to do something. I also want to tell you that some students have been writing mails about how they are not able to finish the syllabus. Some of you are facing these challenges. Now, I'll tell you, there is a very two different groups of people. If it is your first attempt and you're not able to complete the syllabus, you are not in a bad place. It means that you are preparing. All right, you are not in a bad place. It means you are preparing. Let us be very clear. There are also students, at least a dozen of them, who say that, sir, I am able to study 3-4 hours in a day, and I'm able to finish off on the syllabus load is not that much. They are saying that, sir, this used to be much higher, maybe earlier, but at least this year the syllabus load is not too much. So whether the syllabus is too much or whether the syllabus is less, this depends on who you are speaking to. All right. Some person will say that I have the attention span of a fish. I can't study for more than 30 minutes. I need to take a break after 15 minutes. And all those natak will be there, which is technically not suitable for a competitive examination like that. They could do well in other fields and other walks of life. Right? They could be brilliant at other things, but then this is something that is not suitable for this line, which means that no matter how you feel, you need to shut up, sit down. No matter how hot you feel the chair is getting, I need to sit and study. Right? You have to make those accept certain basic truths. You have to accept those basic truths that 3-4 hours of sitting will be needed. If you are not accepting those basic truths, then you will be negotiating with yourself on the small basics. That kitne ghante baithna hai, kitne ghante padhna hai. Those questions, if you are a serious aspirant, those questions should dissolve for you. Those questions should dissolve for you, just like you are out of teenage, most of you. All of you, I hope, are out of teenage. So questions like, if I don't do my assignment, will it be the death penalty for me in a class? Those questions are over for you now. School mein ye problem thi. If I have not done my maths assignment, then I'm gone today. But those questions have dissolved with the benefit of hindsight. You can say that if a teenager comes to you and says that, I have not done my assignment and I think I don't want to go to school today, you will probably tell him that's not a good enough reason to miss your class. Zyada se zyada ek chata lagega. Iske upar, nothing will happen, right? So basically, you have to be very clear with this. Don't have such questions like, how many hours should I study? The correct answer is as many as you can. The correct answer is as many as you can. So if these questions, see, you have to, why I'm saying this, that this remains some fundamental truths for you is, the minute you accept something as a true, that ye to hai hi, then at least you're not negotiating or not troubled by those. And that is why a wise man long time back said that the truth shall set you free. Right, who am I talking about? Nobody knows? Chalo. All right, that's correct. All right, so that is why some basic truths, if you accept the truth, then the truth shall set you free. After that, these basic negotiations, ye sab nahi hoga ki I am having a headache, should I study or not? I cannot sit for 1 hour, should I prepare for civil services or not? See, people in this world, they clear the examination, there is either do or do not. There is nothing like try. You can either sit for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, or you cannot sit for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. It's not like there is a lot of experimentation or the scope of it is there. We are entering the last 5 months of the prelims examination, which means that if you lose a day, a week, or a month for any reason, such as a breakup or a viral fever or a COVID fever, then for all practical purposes, we are having a compromised preparation. It is similarly, the impact of it is something like this, that just imagine that you are sending a mission to, let us say, Mars. Okay? Your trajectory is something like this. And yahan par hi, you are feeling that there is a 10-degree deviation. You can clearly imagine that forget the 10 degree, you have a 1 degree deviation here. What is the likely, for all practical purposes, Mars would be much far. This is not a correct diagrammatic representation, given that this is the size of Earth I have drawn. But yes, if I assume the Earth size to be like this, somewhere like this. If there's just 1 degree deviation, where will the orbiter launch? It will launch somewhere on a different planet altogether. So which is why what I want to tell you is that you have a very good rock solid plan. Don't screw it up. Follow it to the hilt. Follow it to the last letter and you will clear this examination. On the other hand, if you mess up with the plan and come up with your own plans, why do people come up with their own plans? Not because they are better plans, but because it is difficult to stick to a plan. Right? Some of you will have certain eureka moments happening. I now know how to clear the prelims. कुछ हुआ है ऐसा? थोड़े बहुत कि now I have understood what is needed to clear the prelims. Because first time you have read, at least we have made you do one thing. That is, you are reading the basic books thoroughly or not. You are reading the basic books thoroughly or not. ये अभी भी light mode में चल रहा है कि देख कर चले जाएंगे. Most of the times people will appear for the nearly the world's most competitive examination by treating it as lightly as a college examination कि लक्ष्मीकांत पढ़ लिया है, हाँ मैंने देख लिया है. Right? Civil services examination does remain one of the most underrated examinations. I'm not going to say overrated. Underrated examinations because most people first write the exam, then they start the preparation. Is it true for some of you at least? कि पहले देकर देखते हैं तैयारी, उसके बाद शुरू करेंगे. People don't do such experiments with another and to a great extent less competitive examinations such as joint entrance examination. They will not do something with a NEET. They will not do something with a joint entrance examination. वहाँ पर day 1 को ये symbol रहेगा question में. उसके बाद the student will go back and say कि पढ़ लेता हूँ, पता नहीं symbol का क्या मतलब होता है ना? कौन सा symbol है ये? Integration. कुछ बच्चे उसमें भी confused हैं कि इसकी book खरीदनी पड़ेगी. Right? तो ये नहीं करना है. Be very clear with this. But here now that we have 5 months time, if you play your cards well, if you use your time well, you will be writing the mains 2023. And by corollary, brutally, let me just reverse the logic. If you don't play your cards well, if you don't manage your time well, more than that, if you don't manage two more important things. The other is your energy, and the second is your attention. No, the energy and your attention, if you're not managing these well, then remember that we'll be in trouble. We may not be writing the mains examination. That is the harsh truth of this examination. So by which I mean to say is you have to conserve your energy and use it only for the examination preparation. Do not let your energy deplete, physical as well as mental and emotional, on things that probably won't matter 5 years or 10 years down the line. So don't deplete your energies, your attention, your physical, human, financial resources on things that probably do not matter 5 years down the line. Just like today, you are much wiser than you were in teenagers, right? You can see the troubles of it. I met my teenager niece a few days back, and she said, "Aapko pata hi nahi hai meri life mein kya problems hai." You know, she's 13 and she says, you can't even estimate the problems that I have in my life. Thankfully, most of us are over this. जो नहीं over हुए हैं, planning करो over होने की. Get out of your teenager years. You have entered an age where if you commit a crime, don't actually do that. But if you commit a crime, you'll be reported as a man or a woman. You'll not be quoted as a boy. A 21-year-old or 24-year-old boy has committed. It will be a 22-year-old man or a woman has committed a certain crime. इसको टेस्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है, बट अखबार पढ़ो तो समझ में आ जाएगा. ठीक है, don't. So see, one few things that I also want to tell you is please do not miss a single test. You will always have an excuse to miss a single test, including today's. Some of them are already doing so. कुछ बच्चे already है ना. See how this system works is, how the world works is, that most of the times who succeeds is the one who's the last man standing. You know, sometimes, see, life is a great leveler. There is a great filter continuously at work. There is a great filter continuously at work, which means that every day some people will be separated from this competition. We, in the end, we do not want more than 100 students to write the final test, because if those 100 students, they are the ones who will 100% will be clearing. Two things will happen, two benefits will get. One is that they will clear the prelims examination. Second is that they have developed the study ethics that is needed to prepare for the mains examination. Otherwise, what will we do with extremely poor quality of study ethics? We will not be, if somehow prelims they are clean, then we will be in different trouble, because they don't know how much to study. Benchmark is not set for them. At least for some of you, how many of you are studying at least 6 hours a day right now? Raise your hands. At least 6 hours. Do you think you'll be able to survive with less than 6 hours in SFG? No, you'll not. Unless you don't plan to survive in the first place. कुछ बच्चे दूसरे का हाथ देखकर रेस कर रहे हैं अभी भी कि 6 घंटे, है ना. Those are troubling signs, that when for 6 hours you are looking at other people raising hands or not, and then in the end they are raising the hand. 6 घंटे is the minimum benchmark. Don't set the benchmark so low for yourself that you can just cross it by walking over it. है ना, रस्सी को इतना नीचे मत रखो कि वॉक करके you are crossing the benchmark. Don't set standards so low. What I want all of you to do is set a new normal for yourself. For some of you, waking up at this hour would have been a very Herculean task. कुछ था ऐसा, at least for some of you? How many found it very difficult? That's okay. Found it very difficult? How did you manage to do it? Are you doing it every single day? What is one thing, what one hack you have used? Sleeping early. All right. Anybody else? You, Suriti? Setting 3-4 alarms. All right. Anybody else who has come up with some creative ways to wake up and consistently come at this time? Any other creativity? Yes? Committed to give the paper. Not sleeping for the whole night. So that's perfectly all right. That is perfectly all right. Not sleeping for the whole night is perfectly all right. See, right from the very first batch when we introduced SFG, there were few students. I want to tell from the first batch, you see, there's a very good-looking man, rank 92. Very tall, uska interview maine liya hai. So what happened is, for the first time when he came to forum, so he thought that, like a lot of people outside this small world that we have, he thought that prelims is a lot about luck. Most of the time, see, the world is designed in a manner such that all of us feel that हमारे पास, हम लोग मेहनत ज़्यादा करते हैं और किस्मत हमारे पास कम है. The world is designed, you ask Bill Gates, he said that, a very famous statement sometimes misattributed to Bill Gates is, life is unfair, be prepared for it. The man is the world's richest man. And he says, life is unfair, be prepared for it. So the world is designed in a manner such that all of us are likely to feel that we have the maximum wisdom and the minimum luck. We also think we have the maximum wisdom and minimum wealth for the amount of wisdom that we have. All of us will feel that. कि किस्मत सबसे कम है और मेहनती सबसे ज़्यादा. That is a sense of entitlement that all of you will have. But what I want you to do is that please realize that you are coming and starting a test at 7 a.m. This is not something extraordinary. It will be extraordinary if you are able to do it every single day. Because on day 1, at least 200 more students would have come up and done that. But next day, their bodies would have said that you probably need to do something else, ये तुमसे नहीं हो पाएगा. And there are people who do and people who don't. I have a very good student. I'm trying to negotiate with him every day that please come and write the test. But every day he has some excuse. I call him up also sometimes, कभी 6 बजे भी phone करता हूँ कि आज आ जाओ test लिखने. But every day he'll have some problems or the other. So which is why I know that at the end of the year when the toppers list will come out, then he will again come कि सर मेरे साथ वाले हो गए, मेरा नहीं हुआ. So like everybody else, he thought, he came with a friend and he said that sir prelims हो जाएगा, इस बार नहीं हुआ. मैंने कितनी बार लिख चुके हो? बोले सर 2 बार हो चुका, ये तीसरी बार है, नहीं हुआ. Then I said कि करो, you start writing the test. He wrote the test, and at the end of 1 week or 2 weeks, I asked him, what do you think that, what is the one thing that you realized? He said he has a rank 92. I have done a tete-a-tete with a topper. He's my foundation student. So he came after the third attempt, which most people do. They come to forum generally after third attempt. कि अब नहीं हुआ है तो चलो चलते हैं, शायद कुछ हो जाए. You take any student of ours, any rank holder you take. तो कहा है तो third attempt, fourth attempt के बाद rank 1, he came after the fifth attempt. अब कुछ नहीं हुआ. उसके बाद next year his junior from revenue came again after fourth attempt and fifth attempt, already gotten rank, ऐसा नहीं है, 122 and something, rank 7 next year if you see. So people come like that with the references. So he felt very strongly that prelims is about luck. And then for the first time when he sat in a class, he realized that there are people who actually study more than him and score well. At first, he did not believe that out of 50 questions, there are people who may get 40 questions right. Is there anyone who's getting 40 questions above right? है ना? So that's a small number. All right, I would expect more number than this. यार इससे ज़्यादा तो पहले बैच में थे, जहाँ पर strict anti-cheating measures were there, which means that at least there will be 4 people in a classroom continuously roaming to ensure that, so 40 questions right you should be having. This is nearly a book-based test. If you study, you will get marks. That effort-reward ratio should be established. All right, so he said for the first time, he said, sir, one benefit I got that I actually came to know that I have to study more than what I was doing. I said, what were you doing? He said, sir, I used to read and just go and write the test. Now I realize that I have to read every line from which a question can come. I had not read it so well. And once he did that, he got a very good 115, 120, 125. That was the level of score he was getting. All right, and he has a certain option, certain problems were there. So he did clear the prelims, he did clear the mains, he went to the interview, and then he said, sir, I'm not in the final list. I'll make you proud next year. Until he did get a good rank. Last community meet में देखोगे there will be a tall man speaking, जिसको मैंने कुछ बोला. ठीक है, you see some of these students, they have not missed a single test. You meet rank 23. So I asked, how many tests did you write in SFG? He said, sir, I've written all the tests. Then later he calls me up and says, sir, did you find, have I missed any test or something? I have done level 1 and level 2, both of them. So ऐसा कुछ miss हुआ है क्या? Because I again checked everything and I saw that I have written every single test. I have not missed it. I asked all my friends to do it, but not everybody wrote all the tests. I was the only person in my group who wrote every single test, no matter how my preparation was. Okay, so I want to all of you to tell you one thing, that please make sure that you are not missing on anything. You are not aware, but these small things make a lot of difference. The once you get into the habit of a mediocre behavior, such as आज mood नहीं है तो test नहीं लिखेंगे. You are all here. If you are in this classroom, please know that A, you are in vicinity of an area which is extremely expensive. We are able to afford these rents, so which means that you cannot be sustained here for a very long time. Financially, A, you cannot sustain yourself for infinity. It is that expensive. We cannot sustain preparation with you for infinity. This is an extremely expensive area to put a chair in. All right. So make sure that you know that you have limited time for preparation. और जो करना है आज करना है अभी करना है. In these 5 months, the rules have to be very simple, and that is that in the next 5 months you have to study as much as you studied in the last 12 months. That is the level of studies that is needed from you. In these last 5 months, you have to study as much as you have studied in the last 12 months. अब कुछ बच्चों के लिए आसान भी होगा कि यहाँ का नंबर सर डबल कर लेंगे, ट्रिपल कर लेंगे. ये तो कुछ भी नहीं है ना? कुछ बच्चे खुश हो रहे हैं कि सब तो काम आसान हो गया अब तो. राइट. In the last 3 months, bacha, you study as much as you have studied in the last 5 months. Last 1 month, you study as much as what you studied in the last 3 months. And last 1 week is equal to last 1 month. See, prelims invariably requires us to have very intensive study as compared to the mains examination, which does not require so intensive study. So which is why क्या होगा ना, prelims का पेपर देने में बच्चों के कान गर्म हो जाते हैं. You see students, अभी winter है, but summer will come soon, and you'll see that student है ना कान गर्म हो रहे हैं, किसी को fever हो रहा है, किसी को कुछ हो रहा है, right? Because it will require, the exercise itself is a lot intensive, and most of the students, they are having a different approach, which means that prepare for mains 4 years. 4 साल से मेंस की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हैं, अभी भी क्या ढूंढ रहे हैं? पॉल साइंस की टेस्ट सीरीज. कब तक पढ़ेंगे? अप्रैल तक. एनुअली दे आर डूइंग दिस. ठीक है. सो मेक श्योर दैट prelims will preparation. Nobody likes to study for prelims. Nobody likes to remember what is Warren Hastings, Wavell, and है ना, अभी आगे आएगा spectrum. This is the most interesting part of the syllabus you are going through. इसमें demotivation हो रहा है तो फिर wait for modern history to come, and then it's a downhill journey from there. It's a downhill. Economy तक interesting है. Then modern history comes. You first start getting the science where you enter the part of the syllabus which you don't like studying, and from there you will move to ancient and medieval. Though कुछ बच्चे ऐसे होंगे who would love ancient and medieval, ठीक है, but है ना, and then you will have something where the boundaries of the syllabus are not very clearly defined, such as something such as environment and ecology, where a lot of things start becoming important. All right. So please remember that prelims will require you to do some intensive study. If you have been used to studying in a lightweight mode, which sometimes I call lifestyle preparation, है ना, some of you are already doing what is called lifestyle preparation, which means what time will you wake up? जब नींद खुलेगी तब. सोओगे कब? जब नींद आ जाएगी तब. कितने घंटे पढ़ोगे? जितने घंटे मन होगा. So with that you can probably stay in a tier 2 or a tier 3 tier town. But when you are coming to Delhi with a dream of at least being a district collector in one of the odd 700 districts that is governed through the capital city here, then probably the government needs people of more caliber than people who are just having a lifestyle way of working. Right? India में 750 odd districts are there, each headed by a district magistrate, and 1.3 billion people are being administered through them. So do you not realize the magnificence of the task that is entrusted to one district collector? है ना, you can think of this 1.3 billion people with approximately 750 districts से आप manage कर रहे हैं. Not an easy task. Is it an easy task? It will not be. So it will not require somebody who's having a lifestyle approach to preparation. It cannot be the case. You either attune as per the demand of the examination, or you walk out, save your parents' money that way, or you save your years that way. But if you are getting into civil services examination, it is either full on work or no work, but there is nothing like beach ka kaam nahi karna bachche. All right. I have not seen a single student who has done extremely well in the end. I'm not going to talk about extremely well in prelims, but extremely well in the end, like getting a single digit rank or a double digit rank, getting a top rank in the end, and has not been consistent. It will not be that he has done some 4 or 5 things, then he has left, and he has done this, then he has left. Most of the times, people who clear are the ones who have stuck on something, one single goal, and they have cleared the examination. Another thing I want to talk about is, for selection in the civil service examination, you will need to develop what is known as the right philosophy. This becomes very important. है ना, right philosophy. Most of the times, right philosophy, this becomes very important. तुम सोचते कैसे हो? Do you broadly agree that we may look at the same picture and see different things? हो सकता है. Right? There is a ठेला, and there's somebody who's making, suppose, let us imagine, छोले भटूरे on that ठेला. And some of you may see it and see कि कितना tasty भटूरा बना रहा है. Some of you are saying कि यार ये बंदा, see how different people see, even a food stall selling chola bhatura, different people will see and learn different things. One student will say what tasty food he's making. This is what I need to have. Another person will be thinking ये 6:30 बजे ये कर रहा है beyond the metro station. Look at the grit and the determination of this person. And yet somebody will be thinking कि this is very unhealthy. If I have it, I'll probably be collapsing after having this. I need 4 hours of sleep for every 15 minutes of chole bhature eating. Right? Broad calculation करके बच्चे बैठे हैं, है ना, 4 hours of sleep for every 15 minutes. उसमें कुछ बच्चे आधे घंटे खाते हैं, तो 8 घंटे का slot fix हो जाता है सोने का. Right? So make sure that your philosophy has to be very correct, बच्चा. Do not take the path of least resistance. कि कौन सा काम किया, वो जिसमें सबसे कम मेहनत है. कौन सा काम करेंगे, वो जो shortcut है. That does not work. In the end, when you clear the exam with flying colors, preach people that always do smart work. ये सब बोल देना jargon, कुछ लोग ऐसे ही 2-3 साल खराब करेंगे इसमें. ठीक है, in the name of smart work. It is a good work. But trust me, smart work is nothing but the hacks that you develop when you are doing the hard work, and then you find ways and means to achieve the same output with less effort. Achieve the same output with less effort, and more than that, maybe less time. That will be a smart work. But right now, don't start looking for a smart work. Smart work can be anything such as saving the questions on a, taking a picture and saving all the difficult questions on your phone and revising them. I had a long time, I had a student, इसी SFG में, तो उस समय क्या हुआ था, सीलिंग हो गई थी कुछ, तो सब लोग बच्चे पार्क में, we asked them to write. There was one student, history option था उसका, I wanted her to do a topper talk, but then things, and she had lost her family member, she was very pareshan, she got a 27th rank that year. ठीक है, so as far as I know, she was in UP cadre, IS, proper मिल गया उसे. So she was among the first batch of our SFG students. I still remember she sent a message, ki, sir, if you need any volunteering, I can come a little early and I can help with the distribution and those things. I still have that message with her. And now, later she would go on to get 27th rank. What I want to tell you here is that make sure that you do not choose path of least resistance ki sabse kam kaam karna hai. Don't look for any shortcuts as of now. What is the reason? In the end, you will be using shortcuts. But if you begin with shortcuts, then there's a problem. In the end, you will use hacks. But if you begin with hacks, then your study ethics goes down and then everything is compromised. You are not fit enough to clear prelims, and then later, you are not good enough for us to train you to clear the mains examination. Right. Another thing I want to tell you is that please, right now, prepare in stealth mode. Some of you, are you feeling good after this morning 1 hour's exercise? Are you feeling good or not? Yes, chalo, ek cheez to achhi boli class mein. In unison you said yes, sir. Feeling good about yourself? So ye goodness, keep it to yourself. Please prepare in stealth mode. You know what is stealth mode? By which I mean to say is don't go back home, show your papers to the whole flat and dance around. ये नहीं करना है कि सबको दिखा रहे हैं कि हम सुबह पढ़ने जा रहे हैं. चुपचाप गो बैक टू योर बेड, स्लाइड इनटू द बेड, कंबल उठाओ एंड देन मेक अ नॉइज टू योर रूममेट कि अच्छा 8 बज गए क्या. You have to be that secretive about your preparation. I am telling you, we have helped students get a single digit rank after failing 4 or 5 prelims. So I'm telling you a few things. It is not my philosophy. This is something that we have clearly observed. We had a wonderful student once. He got a 250 rank, then 10th rank, then 2nd rank in forest, all these things he got. His roommate was a very good friend of mine. मैंने उसको कहा तुम forum आओ. He did not come. So one fine day he asked, how is the result? I said, Abhi, I'm going to meet one of my students. He's gotten a 10th rank. Okay, so he said that he's my roommate. He never went to forum. I said, he has attended 30 classes of mine. He says, इसने बताया नहीं. And he was very angry. He was very angry. That friend of mine was in allied services, civil account service. And this Abhishek he did clear forest, police service, and then administrative service. So once his selection was over, he completely made me install Evernote and taught me how to use hacks to organize your own notes better. But what I want to say is that every successful student, don't be the one who's just making a lot of noise. We don't want you to promote SFG also, to be very honest. चुपचाप आप निकल जाओ, that is my promotion. ठीक है, ज़्यादा दुनिया को नहीं बताना है. No more Facebooking, WhatsApping that I'm studying. Please, to prepare in what is called stealth mode. If too many people are knowing about your preparation, not a great thing. Too many people, let them know about your preparation, but don't tell them that you're working very hard. पहले तो बहुत hard work नहीं कर रहे हो. You go at 5:30 or 6 o'clock to any bus stop, which you may not be going because you're coming either via the metro or via Rajinder Nagar. Right, but you go to there will be 5:30, there will be extreme crowd in most places. People traveling from Greater Noida and from Greater Noida to Gurgaon for a job that probably does not pay a lot of money. Right, so you are not बहुत hard work नहीं करो. This is what is any JEE aspirant is studying as much as you are studying right now. It's just that civil services has humanities and people generally have a low, they estimate it a little lesser. You are not working harder than how a student sitting in Kota is studying. Please be. Let us all glorify that it is the mother of all exams. But the amount of effort that student who's preparing for his JEE examination, he is also putting. Or it's just that you have a lot less discipline than you naturally had in school. It is just that you have a lot less. How many of you broadly agree that we have lesser discipline than in school? Right? You just have to bring that school level discipline back. वो स्कूल में है ना, टाइम से उठना, टाइम से जाना, नॉट अकॉर्डिंग टू योर लाइफस्टाइल, है ना? No, so make sure that you prepare in stealth mode. Don't announce it to the world. Chup chap yahi par. I don't need this building full of students. We don't need. That's not our vision. We are looking for getting 100 students and 100 selections. That is the dream that we are having. We are not looking for educating mass and millions. Nothing like that is our vision. Our vision is 30, 50, 40, 50, 100 students and 100 selections. That is what we are. That is what I am looking for. We are very clear. We are not looking for having very big academy. Nothing like that. We will educate the masses, millions of Indians. No, we are not. We are not trying to be a YouTube university. That is not at all the purpose. We want the best, and we want whoever is coming here. If you deliver your best, it is the nature of this examination that not the sharpest will survive, but the nature of this examination is such that person who is willing to work hard, he will clear this exam. Every year I take mock student. अभी तो mock चल रहा है अभी. So I'll clearly see that somebody who has a single digit rank in IIT, 3 बार से मेरे साथ interview दे रहा है. Neurosurgery from AIMS. You ask him how many seats are there in neurosurgery. He says a general category 1 seat. Then he follows the second statement. In 3 years, he has reached there and he is coming for the civil service exam. It's not about sharpness. It is complete. This exam at least is about only about hard work. If you are not making it in this examination, it is not at all anything to do with यहाँ पर इसका कुछ नहीं है. It will be 99% you are not working hard or not, and 1% will be luck, which cannot be eliminated in any walk of life. Which is that 1% luck is important for success in any walk of life, including crossing a road. ठीक है, वहां पर भी जरूरत पड़ जाएगी 1% लक की, है ना? कुछ बच्चे साल में 3 बार एक्सीडेंट कराते हैं कि बाइक से गिर गए, दूसरी बार बाइक वाले ने हिट कर दिया, तीसरी बार बोला बाइक तो दूर दूर तक बाइक नहीं रही सर, इस बार साइकिल खरीदा था उससे गिर गए. ठीक है, सो अवॉइड. ठीक है, अच्छा एक चीज और, ऑल ऑफ यू प्लीज बी अवेयर ऑफ दिस गैंग. वन गैंग इज तेरा तो हो जाएगा गैंग. इस गैंग से दूर रहना. है ऐसे गैंग एक्टिव? नहीं है तो तुम ही वो गैंग मेंबर हो, है ना? तुम ही 2-4 को. So if you are having such friends now, for example, you're going to a flat and somebody saying, why yaar, it is already 9 o'clock, you've already written a test, सुबह पढ़ाई कर ली, I saw you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock, तो तेरी तो बड़ी पढ़ाई हो रही, इस बार तो तेरा हो जाएगा. तुम उसी को बोलना शुरू कर, वाह यार तेरा ही हो जाएगा इस बार, मेरा तो डाउटफुल लग रहा है. Complete reverse that. Please avoid such people. I am saying this because I have never seen a student where he is very celebrated in the group. उस साल तो कम से कम जरूर दिक्कत हो गई है उसको. ठीक है, कि बाकी के उसके साइड वाले जो कम नंबर ला रहा है लास्ट में वो कर. आई एम सेइंग दिस बिकॉज मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स, सी, टू रीच हियर, टू बी इन द टॉप 20, आई विल एक्सपेक्ट, if you want to really clear this exam, I'll expect that at least once or twice you should have a rank like 16, 32, 41, something like this. You should be in top 50 at least a few times. That is what I will expect from you. You can't have a normal, and if you're not able to do it in this level 1, then at least in level 2 you do. But again, remember that level 2 will have lot of students who have appeared for the interview. They will all be back and the competition will be much more fierce than ये तो lightweight चल रहा है अभी. ठीक है, so make sure that you are not because what will happen is that you are reaching a certain sense of having a certain sense of, self fulfillment and having a certain sense of self satisfaction only because you are working. Now you will replace this with a lot of friendly people who are just misguided by your good communication skills, or by the way you look good, or by just a little effort or fundamental changes in you. And they will start saying कि तेरा तो हो जाएगा. Now you are getting that self-satisfaction not on the basis of the work you are doing, but on the basis of some friendly people who are giving, and that is where your downfall begins. Remember that most of the times when people succeed, that is because what they are doing, what they are working when they have going through a lowest phase of their life. When they are at the lowest phase of their life, when बड़ी गुमनामी में है, उस समय जो करते हैं उसके कारण they become successful later. And when they are successful, that time what they are doing, that will lead to, because success is, will come in waves. There will be high point and there will be a low point. It will happen. It's a natural. That's how God has designed us. So this is what you are doing at this point will determine how high your amplitude will be. ठीक है, अब एम्पलीट्यूड नहीं पढ़ाऊंगा, ह्यूमैनिटीज वाले बच्चे डरो मत, ठीक है, लेकिन इतना साउंड वेव्स के लिए वो भी है, साइंस एंड टेक में उतना जानना जरूरी है एम्पलीट्यूड क्या होता है. ऑलराइट, सो इंश्योर दैट दिस गैंग, यू प्लीज डोंट बिकम victims, also don't become gang members or gang leaders of tera to ho jayega group, right? Make sure that this does not. The second group that you all of you to have avoid is that right now you will meet some bhaiya who will have cleared the prelims or mains, whom you will be looking up to right now, and not wrongly so. He will tell you asli battle interview ka hai. See, people identify the difficulty of the examination based on what they are finding difficult. So if you meet some of my students, they will say ki sir, main thing is interview, because I have been getting only 140. You see, rank 5. ठीक है, तो मैं ही इसका 2-3 साल से इंटरव्यू ले रहा, बट ही हैज, है ना, बट विथ रिस्पेक्ट, इफ यू आस्क हिम, he will always say, and very rightly so, he's been there in SFG, he's been there in prelims test series, he's done it very well, मतलब उसने बहुत अच्छे से किया है. But if you ask him, he will, if you go to him and really ask him, he will say कि actually में what will help up is the interview. Why will he say that? Because he does not find prelims that challenging, because he has fixed it on day one. He has fixed it on day one, so therefore he will not find it very challenging. He may end up saying कि असली interview की तैयारी करो. Now, if you are going by that advice, he is assuming that you are having the same capability or same level of preparation as he is doing, whereas you are failing in standard 1. You know why they make the benches small in class 6th? Why do they make the, have you gone to primary school ever? एक बार चक्कर का, छोटे छोटे benches होंगे. Why do they make the benches so small in school? So that 1 year later, you know that it is time to pass from that class into a senior class. 2 साल रुक गए तो तीसरे साल bench के लिए application दोगे, the bench is not fitting me. The principal will write that next year, if you don't migrate, so we have bigger benches in the next class. 7th class में इससे बड़ी benches हैं, 8th class में उससे भी बड़ी benches हैं. Personalized bench बना रखा है. अब 6th class में 10th तक पढ़े रहोगे तो फिर होगी दिक्कत. Right? So make sure that, you know, so one is this, the other group that is also there is that another group that will, you need to probably worry is that keeps telling you even if you clear prelims. इसके बाद तुम्हें आगे क्या बता देगा? You will not be able to clear mains or interview, कुछ भी बता देंगे, but even if you clear prelims. What I want you to know is there are enough number of even my own students who are now in service. So if you see some of my interviews, you will see that at least there are 2-3 candidates. वहाँ लिखा रहेगा cleared IS in 4th attempt, 5th attempt. You will ask them, they will also say, sir, I was very clear that I will not give more than 3 months to the prelims because I know main battle is mains. But I have always asked the team कि please, और अगर नहीं डाला है तो team वाले सुन लो और डाल लेना. You will always read that they have not cleared prelims for 2-3 years because of the wrong philosophy. Prelims does not only require 2-3 months. It depending on who you are, where you are coming from, what is your basic education, that will require more time. So you'll get a lot of people saying that even if you clear prelims, nothing will matter. Why? Because A, he's judging from his position. कि मेरा mains रुका हुआ है. I'm stuck at mains, and I know, and there are a lot of people like that who just clear prelims like this. Like 10 दिन में they will study for 10. You have to do it once, and once you clear prelims, you will be better at it. ठीक है? So please do not be guided by this. Why? Because there is a big difference between somebody who has cleared the prelims and somebody who has not. The quality of questions that they ask, that itself is very different. The kind of questions. They'll be still stuck in those teenager questions. कि सर लक्ष्मीकांत कितनी बार पढ़ना है? ठीक है? Why? This is not a question that anybody who's writing the mains will ask, because that question dissolves for him. I'm not saying these are not pertinent questions. But what I'm saying is that you can't struggle with the same question for a very long time. You can't struggle. You can say, does he like me? Does he not like me? How many years? 6 महीना, 1 साल, 2 साल, move on. Right? You can't be stuck with a single question for a very long time until it is a research subject. Right? How many months, how many hours to study? That question is always making sense to somebody who's probably not studying. Probably not studying. All right? If you're asking how many times, है ना? What should, if you are right now studying Lakshmikant, ठीक से पढ़ रहे हो? So you will not appreciate a question coming from somebody who will come up. If I send you a student for guidance, okay, वो आपसे कहेगा भैया या दीदी जो भी है, लक्ष्मीकांत तो मैं कर लूंगा, इसके अलावा क्या करना है? Now you will have a bogus candidate, alert or not? कि probably the one who is asking this question is probably not reading Lakshmikant. The person who's asking this question is probably not reading Lakshmikant, which is why he's asking this question. So person who's asking questions like how many hours do I have to study is probably not studying enough number of hours because others are not having that time. है ना? So इस चीज को also avoid this. Make sure that you do not worry about what, even if you clear prelims. If you clear prelims, there are a few things I want to tell you. First is that you have certain unfettered burst of energy that pulls you through. There are hundreds and hundreds of students every year who may not have cleared prelims before. It is their first prelims they have cleared. They have written the mains and they have cleared in the final round. You see here itself, I was taking interview of one student. They are ranked 91. Very good candidate. I think she's from Stephens. Okay, she was not able to clear prelims. The minute she cleared prelims, she's clearing the mains, clearing the interview also, and is in the finalist. Then there is a candidate rank 120. So brilliant candidate. She clears the prelims. She clear because during the lockdown years they had a lot of troubles, and we got too many mentor calls requests from her that time. She was our MGP student and a prelims. So we got a lot of. So that is why I remembered कि अरे इस बच्ची ने तो बड़े सारे ये लिए हैं, बड़े सारे calls लें, निकलेगा या नहीं निकलेगा finally, right? You also want that somebody who's using the resources. So if you see that they cleared the prelims once, they cleared the mains and they cleared the interview. You clear the prelims, after that mains becomes a lot easy because GS paper 1 you have done it thoroughly. है ना? If otherwise, है ना, you have done thoroughly, you develop the study ethics that is needed to clear this examination. मतलब you will not be I will not be negotiating with you. अभी है ना 1 घंटे का टेस्ट लिखने में रुलाई छूट रही है कुछ लोगों की, छूट रही है. 1 hour test. That time, you ask any candidate, you will see that, sir, I'm writing 3 hours plus 3 hours test every day. Some students are there, if you ask, who are so desperate, right from our very first batch, ranked 91, Indian Administrative Service, first in engineering, then in, you ask him whenever he will come, he will say, sir, I can't get leave, so therefore when I come, he used to come, I think, उस समय था 10 से 1, he would write a GS test, then 2 to 5, he would write his optional test, and 5 to 8, he would come back and write his essay test with us. So because of him, Thakur Bhaiya was very problems because every time center used to be open at 8 o'clock and there are 5 students who are writing the test. मैंने पूछा, what is the matter? He said, sir, I'll just get 1 day and I know that I'll be dead tired. I'll be dead tired, है ना? And if I'll be wasting my time if I take, so I come and I write this test and I finish off 9 hours. I know that I'll be dead tired, but with 9 hours of practice, I'm assuring that in the mains, I'll be doing good with 6 hours of this. तो 6 घंटे का तो मैं जरूर कर लूंगा, ठीक है? That is what his expectation was. Now for these 9 hours of test writing, that conditioning is only that your physical and mental and emotional fitness will only come if you have been doing that kind of studies. ऐसा अचानक से एक दिन, it will not happen. Achanak, it will not happen that suddenly you will develop that. Just because of the grind that you are going through right now, that will prepare you for this. You meet this year also at least 1 dozen students will be there who've written 9 hours of test. कि हाथ लिखते लिखते ना हाथ छिल जाते हैं थोड़े से. That you have to prepare for. है ना? Then one more thing that you should realize right now is, for all of you, is that, see, a lot of students think that they have an accuracy problem. How many of you think you have an accuracy problem? See, one thing that I want you to think along these lines is that, bacha, most of the times people who complain of accuracy, they don't see that it is not really an accuracy. Does your accuracy improve with revisions? Does your accuracy improve with revisions? You don't have an accuracy problem, you have a revision problem. You have a high sense of entitlement that I'm the freaking Einstein who will read a book, come and write a test and get 50 questions right. Don't come with that entitlement. Nobody is that sharp. You have to read it 10 times to be good at it. The same student who I'm talking about, who got a 10th rank in civils and 2nd in forest, I still remember he had just passed and a young girl comes up to me that day and she says, sir, I think I have an accuracy problem. Okay, so I called him, I put the phone on speaker, I said, how many times did you revise for prelims? He said something. He said, sir, yeah, that I want to tell you is that with my Evernote notes also, I take a printout and read it. Because though it is a good tool for reading, but I want to tell you that whatever my notes are there on Evernote, I print out and underline and read it. Because unless I read something 5-7 times, I'm not blessed with a photographic memory. I have to read it 5-7 times before it gets inside my head. Otherwise, मेरे से question गलत हो जाते हैं या फिर mains में I'm not able to remember the points. He was from IIT Delhi and from IIM Bangalore, and most people would think he is a genius. But do you see that when he said that and this young girl was there कि मैंने पूछा तुम कितनी बार करते हो, बोली सर मैं एक बार पढ़ के आती हूँ और एक बार एग्जाम के पहले देख लेती हूँ. That does not work. It's not working for him who is supposed to be at least ahead of the curve at an earlier phase, and you are trying to achieve the same results and better results. Despite, you can still assume that he has a proven aptitude, right? When you've cleared 2 All India competitive examination, your aptitude is proven. I'm not saying you are not having it. All I'm saying is yours is unproven. Yours is unproven. I'm not saying you are not having. What I'm trying to say is why do most of you not see accuracy problem as a revision problem? In this SFG, at least one thing is established. And that is that if you revise, you may probably score well. If you wake up early and just do one revision before the exam, can you increase your score by 4 or 5 marks at least? Are you feeling that? So that is a grand revelation. That's a trade secret that you have found out. Stick to that secret and you will clear this exam with 110 and 120 marks. Please bear with me for the next 12 or 13 minutes more. I don't want anyone walking out right now. All right, 12-15 minutes mein I'll wind up this session. Okay, I know you have classes from 9. Okay, so, all right, so that is there. Then another thing that is very important is please give prelims the time it deserves. See, you will get better at whatever you focus on. Okay, there was a student one, I remember. So very early batch, the first batch that we had. So as I remember, he had not cleared the prelims examination, and that year he had a break. So he was a little परेशान था वो बच्चा थोड़ा सा. He said, sir, अभी तो मैं December तक I'll focus on, है ना, I'll focus on the mains examination. After that, I'll do the prelims. So yes, so that was what happened. See, he gave ample time to the mains examination, ample time to the prelims examination. He got a 120 rank, as far as I can remember. For some reason, some of the students whom we are most associated with, पता चलता है बाद में foreign service में ही चले गए. IAS में कम बच्चे हो जाते हैं. What I want to tell you is that you have to realize that if you focus on mains, you focus on your optional, it will become better. It's not that difficult. It's not, what I mean to say is it's simply time demanding and time consuming. You cannot say it is very difficult. It is simply, it will require time. You want to, है ना, जैसे for example, have you ever made curd? दही बनाया है कभी? रायता तो फैलाया होगा, दही जमाया है? So it will take an overnight time. You will have to have lukewarm milk. You will have to put a spoonful or half a small spoonful of existing curd, and then you will have to have lukewarm milk. You want to speed up the process कि मैं 1 चम्मच दही की जगह पूरा कटोरा डाल दूंगा, या मैं दूध को है ना lukewarm क्यों? I will make it hot. You do any of this, and what do you want? You are expecting curd to be made in 1 hour. That will not happen. And then you will find that what is the world's biggest challenge? Making curd. Something as simple as that. Then what will happen is your mother will come and she'll make it just like that. तुम्हें लगेगा magic है ना? दिल्ली आओगे देखोगे, if there is a cook at your place, he will or she will also do it in the less time. You'll think अरे इसने तो पढ़ाई भी नहीं की है, ये तो मुझसे भी तेज है. Right? Please give enough time to your preparation. It requires time. It is not difficult, but it will require time commitment. If you have loose on time commitments, then there's a problem clearing this examination. All right? You will have certain days where you will have a lot of disappointments. You will have certain days where you will have miserably failed. इस क्लास में से बच्चे 20 से कम स्कोर आए किसी बच्चे का पॉलिटी वाले टेस्ट में? All right? क्या रीजन हो रहा है 20 से कम? Okay, how many of you have gotten 43 questions correct? 43 questions. Okay, anybody with 45 questions correct? Okay, at least one day. What do you think is working for you? Just asking. Constant revision. Have you cleared the prelims before? No, you don't. Okay, constant revision. Attempting more and more, solving questions. And so how many of you are ones who are not having a time crunch in the prelims or in the SFG, in the attempting the paper? All right, fair. So that is, don't be very happy about it. सबका होता है, ठीक है? मतलब in mains you will have a time crunch, in prelims you don't have a time crunch. Why? Because it's very objective. You either know or you don't. ठीक है? One thing that you can do for minimizing negative is, let us say you attempt, and now to avoid that you will attempt, for example, 50 questions. कोशिश ये करना, one attempting strategy that you can have is, For example, you have to know, you have to be very clear that you will have to attempt at least, between 40 to 45, at least 42 to 45 questions plus. All right, you will have to attempt these many questions if you are expecting to achieve some outcome out of it. Okay, so one is that you will say, sir, how do I reach 40? See, you should at least reach 35, at least 35, which means that if you're reaching less than 35, you're not studying. And you have to somewhere fix your own accountability. By this, what I mean to say is, you can't say that I'm preparing for prelims for so many years and still I'm finding the syllabus too huge for the day. Then somewhere either you have not studied before or you're not studying right now. But somewhere there is a problem. Be very objective about it. One approach that you can have is, once you have solved 35 questions, you look at 15 questions and just try to identify 10 questions which you probably know. The 10 questions which look familiar, जो तुम्हें लगता है कि सही होंगे, I'm telling you, if you try to look for only 10 questions out of 15 questions, you will end up finding 7 of them, out of which my usual experience is that 4 to 5 will be definitely correct, which gives you a net positive score. And once you have identified these 7 questions, you are now sitting at 42. So you have 8 questions left, out of which you can again see that don't look for solving 8 questions. You think that there are only 4 questions, 4 to 5 questions, which I will be solving, or I will mark, and I'm remaining 4. So out of that 8, if you only have to choose 50% of the questions, you will be able to pick up at least 3 to 4 questions. Okay, so that will increase your marking, and broadly, most of the times, what I often see is that out of 4 questions, you are likely to get 2 to 3 correct, giving you a net positive score. This is one thing that you can do. All right. Another is, those of you who are marking all 50 questions, first is that don't mark everything black in the final OMR sheet. But what you can also do is, if you are having the habit of marking 50 questions, then after 40 questions are done now, या 50 questions में mark किया हुआ है, in the question paper, 50 questions that are marked in the question paper, try to eliminate at least 5 questions which you definitely know that there is a tukka. At least 5 questions, I'm telling you, if you, out of these 50 questions, if you eliminate 5 questions which you definitely know are a tukka, I'm telling you 3 to 4 out of them will be definitely wrong. And only 1 will be correct. Therefore, actually, if you remove these 5 questions, you will have a net positive score. This is sometimes if you remove 5 questions, those all 5 could have been wrong, and you have thankfully eliminated them. So those who are having this, approach from marking all these 50 questions, apply these techniques. Lastly, okay, so all of you, I want this is that please do not quit. Do not quit. It will be difficult. And don't have too many eureka moments कि अब मुझे समझ में आ गया कैसे तैयारी करनी थी, है ना. सन 2023 में मुझे समझ में आ गया कैसे तैयारी 2022 की करनी थी. Don't have such eureka moments. See, the civil services preparation, we try, as a coaching, we try to make it as structured as possible. But let me admit to you something, that in the end, you will clear this examination by by your self-realization. अंत में है ना, anybody with philosophy optional here? एक दो बच्चे हैं ना? So there are sometimes 3 kinds of truths that are there, right? One is a vyavaharik satya, which is a practical truth where any man who's looking for truth or what to follow, he indulges first in the material world. Like he will do business, he will accumulate wealth, he'll focus on materialistic things. है ना? Then there will be a paramarthik sat. He suddenly realizes one day कि ये सब real नहीं है, and then he starts worshipping the visible aspect of God, which is a statue, right? And then also he does not have what is the one eternal truth, which is known as the Trikal Abadhit Satya, which means that element of truth which is true yesterday, true today, and will always be true in the future. And that is Brahmagyan in philosophy, as we see in Vedanta philosophy. See, that will happen once he realizes that ये दिन भर मैं बैठ, you see some people doing puja archana whole day long, 3-4 घंटे पूजा कर रहे हैं. There will be a time when they will realize कि ये भी सत्य नहीं है, and that is when they will look for the final truth. And that is when they may probably seek a guru or a teacher who may tell them what is the truth or the Brahmagyan, but that is still not, they will not know the truth until one fine day they realize what? The Brahma that they are seeking is within them. And that is why that famous line is there. अहम ब्रह्मास्मि, कि मैं ही ब्रह्म हूं. Right. So what I want to tell you is that you are right now on a path of self-discovery. You will know how to clear, which is why everybody has a different approach to clearing this examination. So कुछ कुछ बातें जो बताई जा रही हैं, whatever you are being told, please follow them. It will make sense to you sometimes today, sometimes in the hindsight. कि ये बात बोली गई थी उस समय मुझे समझ में नहीं आई, ये होगा. And see, the civil service preparation, your strategy will unfold like the peels of an onion. कभी अनियन पील किया है? आज करके देख लेना, नहीं तो थोड़ी रुलाई छूटेगी. बट व्हाट विल हैपन इज व्हेन यू पील ऑफ एन अनियन, यू विल फाइंड अ वेरी परफेक्ट अनियन एंड यू विल हैव अ यूरेका मोमेंट. यू नो व्हाट इज अ यूरेका मोमेंट? यूरेका मोमेंट, व्हाट डज यूरेका वर्ड मीन? Simply means I found it. So it is said that Archimedes was told to solve a problem by the king, flotation principle. So what happened is when he could not solve it all day, and once he was in his bathing tub lying naked, suddenly उसको चमका कि ये तो ऐसे होगा, and therefore he ran from there, from his washroom to the king's court naked without clothes, shouting Eureka, which means I found it. तो ऐसे मोमेंट्स आपकी लाइफ में बहुत होंगे कि अब मुझे पता चल गया कैसे करना है. That is the point where you are most likely deciding, अब मैं अपना प्लान बनाऊंगा. I'm telling you, not a single candidate who has diverted from the path has done better than he would be doing what you're doing right now. Once you do your polity, you will think, अब मुझे समझ में आ गया कैसे पढ़ना है और अब मैं खुद से घर पे पढ़ूंगा. 2 months later, we will get a mail that, sir, I thought that I will not do, I'll do on my own, and 2 months later, here I am, I'm in a mess. Don't be that person. And the civil service preparation strategies, they will unfold to you. But if you try to peel off so if you see a perfect onion, देखा है कभी? If you peel off an onion, you will get a perfect onion just like this. Right? And you will think this is the perfect onion. What do you, if you want a further perfect onion, what do? You take another layer off and you will find an even perfect onion. You will have your own moments. Remember that the truth, in the end, जब बाद में आएगा तो पता चलेगा कि कुछ भी नहीं था. Right? If you do, है ना? तो ज़्यादा यूरेका मोमेंट्स नहीं होने. Those onion layers have to be taken off from time to time by self-realization. तुमको समझ में आएगा. Give it that time, that mental development, and neurons in the, your neurons and nerve cells, they will be accustomed to it. They will find new things. But you will have to be patient enough. ठीक है? You will have to be patient enough. You have discovered, I believe that in the just 1 week that you have done SFG, you have discovered some few things that you probably did not know before or were not doing it that right. I want to tell you that going ahead, you will discover further such things. If you drop out, if you quit at because of any pain point, see, people sometimes quit not because it is too difficult for them, it's just because sometimes they are too excited. They now think कि अब मुझे समझ में आ गया, अब तो मेरा इस साल. I'm always worried of a student who comes कि सर मैं SFG कर रहा हूँ, now I know how to clear the prelims. I will ask him, wait a second, 21, 22 और 19 का स्कोर बताओ. वो कहेगा सर नंबर तो 22, 23, 25 टाइप से हैं. तुम्हें ऐसा क्यों लग रहा है कि तुम्हें समझ में आ गया है? एंड समझना इज नॉट अनफ, उसके ऊपर पढ़ना भी तो है. राइट? सो सी, lastly, I want to tell you that please study as hard as you can, as hard as you have never studied in life. There is no higher purpose for you as of now than to clear this examination, or at least to study. Clearing this examination, I would not say, but at least studying as per what is the demand of the examination. There cannot be any higher purpose than this. If you are having any other other life goal which is taking more, which is more important, then don't come here. मतलब करना नहीं करना, but यहाँ मत आओ. फिर यहाँ आप आ रहे हो, then come with one single purpose, that next 4-5 months I will study the best I can. I will develop the sitting habits for 3 or 4 hours. I will develop the right sleep habits and food habits that is needed to. You will need certain sleep habits and certain food habits so that you can study for 8 to 10 hours. It will not happen on its own. I want to tell you that those who are studying for 10 or 11 hours, they are not naturally doing. They may sometimes be genetically more advantaged than you. That is also correct for some people. But others are very deliberate about it. Others, I sometimes see students, मतलब ऐसे बच्चे हैं जिन्होंने लास्ट में है ना, there was a student with a rank 70, so she showed me her complete everyday study plan. She showed that यहाँ पर green होता था, यहाँ पर red होता था, and then next day Then I further prodded कि अच्छा बड़ा अच्छा manage किया Excel में. He says, sir, I'm not from engineering, I'm from humanities, so I thought that I will use Excel to track my score and everything. She also shared one finding कि sir ये मेरा diet plan था, because पढ़ना रहता था. Then I am the one, if I have something that I like, then after that I need to take a nap. है ना? So therefore I was very tightly controlled with respect to what I am having. So please develop good sleep habits and good eating habits that will help your body to study for 10-12 hours. There was one student, rank 9 he got. तो लोग बहुत अच्छे से लिख रहे थे. You know, after selection what will happen is everybody will say that I only studied NCRTs downloaded free from the internet. ठीक है? That is what and you should say that because you are role models for a billion people. So you should say कि भाई मैं free internet से फ्री पीडीएफ भी डाउनलोड करके प्रिंट आउट भी नहीं लेता था, मैं तो ऐसे पढ़ता था. करो कलम भी मैं मतलब खादी की रखता था, कहीं से मिल जाता था रिसाइकलेबल. यू से ऑल दोस थिंग्स. बट सो when that year when selections happened, everybody was saying that यार it is very important to have quality studies, even if you study 2 hours but study very hard. अब 2 घंटे से कुछ होना जाना नहीं है, चाहे क्वालिटी है चाहे नहीं हो, पहले तो समझ लो. So he was electrical engineer. He very nicely he said I don't know why people are writing such things. I may be an average student, though I have cleared all India competitions before. But for my examination, even for the prelims, I don't think that I studied less than 9 hours every day. That was a very honest line coming from him. ठीक है, उसके अलावा बड़े सारे बच्चे थे फॉरेन सर्विस में, बड़े सीनियर हो गए, वो लोग लिख रहे थे कि 4 to 5 hours. मतलब दीज टाइप ऑफ लिबरल बातें जो है ना, कि हल्की हल्की बातें कर दो एंड एवरीबडी विल थिंक दैट यू आर वेरी गुड, यू आर सेइंग बट आई है ना, ऐसे रहते हैं बच्चे कुछ. So be very upfront about these things कि वो कहने लास्ट में है ना, you say that I only studied 2 hours a day and used to use Facebook for my preparation. वो सब लिख देना बाद में. ठीक है, मैंने Facebook यूज किया अपनी IAS की, कर देना वो सब. ठीक है, टेलीग्राम पे पूरी तैयारी हो गई, मैं है ना ये सब कर देना. लेकिन अभी जो है ना, stick to the basics. That is, your job will not be very interesting. Your life's biggest excitement will be getting a good score in your SFG test. Nothing more exciting than that will happen. इससे ज़्यादा excitement है तो फिर दिक्कत है ना? इससे ज़्यादा exciting अगर कुछ हो रहा है, then I have reasons to worry about you, right? So this is all that will happen. But what you are doing, give it the maximum amount of respect that it deserves. Do it with all the amount of energy, all the amount of hard work that you have ever put for a single purpose. And remember that the only thing that will get you through is a good amount of hard work, but more than that, a good amount of focus. Thinking on having one single aim, committing your life to it so badly that you probably end up dying either trying or you achieve it. That is the level of, matlab isme you will have to, it will require your blood, sweat and tears. It won't happen like this. It won't happen in a light mode, no matter the world may tell you कि ऐसे हो जाएगा, ऐसे नहीं होगा, ऐसे नहीं होता है ना? It's something like, you know, I tell you that let's go to Mount Everest. क्या नाम है आपका? दिवांश. So I say, Divansh, let's go to Mount Everest, we'll do mountaineering. And he said, ठीक है सर, स्वेटर रख लेता हूँ. मैं कहूँ नहीं, माउंट एवरेस्ट जा रहे हैं, ठीक है सर, टोपी भी खरीद लेता हूँ. नहीं होगा बच्चे, है ना? उससे ज़्यादा एफर्ट रिक्वायर्ड है ऑन डे 0 itself. तो जितनी मेहनत कर रहे हो, दैट इज द स्टार्टिंग लाइन. डोंट, है ना, डोंट हैव वेरी लो बेंचमार्क्स. यू आर इन ए फॉर इंडियाज मोस्ट कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन. लाइट मोड में पहले हो सकता है निकल गया हो कुछ लोगों का, अब नहीं निकल रहा है ना? और एक चीज, दोज ऑफ यू हैव रिटन दिस एग्जामिनेशन बिफोर एंड सम ऑफ यू मे थिंक दैट पता नहीं आई एम नॉट हैविंग लक एंड ऑल्सो देयर आर 2 things. You can broadly say that there is something known as किस्मत, another is known as मेहनत. तो अगर तुम्हारा होना रहता किस्मत से, तो those of you who have given a couple of attempts, अगर इससे होना था तो हो गया होता. तो ये वाला कोटा तो नहीं है, तो दूसरा तरीका क्या है? तो इस पर फोकस करो. दैट इज ऑल दैट यू हैव इन योर हैंड. दैट इज ऑल दैट यू हैव इन योर हैंड्स. ऑल राइट, सो मेक श्योर, also please make sure that at least in a month at least 5 days you are getting under 50 rank in whatever group you are. चाहे उसके लिए नहीं सोना पड़े, that is perfectly all right. See, the students who have cleared it, who were not that smart to be very honest, and who have cleared it, the ones जिनकी आंखें फूल के सूजी रहती थी पढ़ते पढ़ते. There was one student in particular, I remember later she got good service, Indian Police Service and Railway Traffic. So they wrote a letter to me that they can't come at 7 o'clock because of a dog problem. मैंने कहा नहीं, आप आकर दोगे. तो दुखी रहती थी मेरे से, बिकॉज ज्वाइन कर लिया सर्विस, देन दे टुक अ लीव, देन प्रीलिम्स नहीं हुआ, देन दे केम बैक हियर. So they said that I have a dog problem, then there's a security problem, everything they said. I said, nahi, 7 baje ke baad, if you come late, there's a negative marks which will start from today for all of you also. Okay? So in this class, people are not late. In the end, so she used to be very, but when she used to come, she was very clear. She said that, sir, mera prelims problem hai. The minute I cleared prelims, I got IPS that year. And next year, I could not clear prelims. So when this year, when they started doing SFG, I used to remember कि बिल्कुल आंखें फुली रहती थी. She was very sad, very angry at me also, that they are not allowing them even a 10-minute concession. But I know that that helped them clear the mains. And then when the final, when she got selection, I asked कि कहाँ पर हो बच्चे? बोले कि सर NPA में हूँ. इंटरव्यू का रिजल्ट है. मैंने बोला बहुत अच्छी, यू गॉट रैंक, बड़े अच्छे से. ही सेड यस सर, आई एम रियलाइजिंग दैट अर्लियर आई वाज, यहाँ पर भी जो है ना सुबह 7 बजे 5 बजे ट्रेनिंग होती है NPA में, तो मैं बहुत दुखी रहती थी कि यार ये पूरी ज़िंदगी करना पड़ेगा क्या, बहुत टफ है. बट टुडे आई एम रियलाइजिंग दैट टुडे इज द लास्ट डे आई विल बी वेयरिंग द यूनिफॉर्म एंड आई एम समहाउ बिगिनिंग टू मिस इट आफ्टर हैविंग वर्न इट फॉर सो लॉन्ग. एंड अब मुझे लग रहा है कि IPS भी रहता तो ठीक रहता, बेकार में मैं रैंक, but I was looking for a good, better rank. मुझे लग रहा था कि I deserved a better rank also and a better service, ठीक है? So anyway, so most of the times, what you will develop, जो अभी करोगे, उससे your end result will be decided. It will take care of a lot of things in the end also. So put your best foot forward. Instead of for anything like that, if you are worried about anything, do it first. और एक चीज़ और, you may go back and sleep right now. But don't be the guy. See, the people who clear these exams are the one who are not under so much stress as you. But the stress rahega, but it will be minimized, not created by them. For example, a very clear two kinds of students will be there. One who will be sleeping right now and they'll be starting their studies from 12 and they'll be studying till 6, 7 or 8 o'clock. Then they'll be lot stress free. Abhi so liya aur 12 baje se 7-8 baje tak pad liya, they'll be stress free. And in the morning they will study for 1 or 2 hours, they'll come. Others are, एंड दैट 8 o'clock क्या करोगे, वो मस्ती करता दिखेगा तुम्हें. क्या होगा, वो दिखेगा मस्ती करता. तुमने क्या किया, व्हाट डिड यू डू, यू आर अ पार्ट ऑफ द सेकंड ग्रुप. You woke up at 12 o'clock after waking, after sleeping, and you woke up at 12 o'clock. You have not studied till 7 o'clock. Now you see, what I say is, that person also studied 6 to 7 hours. You are also studying 6 to 7 hours. I'm not saying more. But now at 7 o'clock, तुम्हारा अब हाथ पैर कांपने लगा. Now you're scared कि अब कल का टेस्ट गया, आएंगे 0 number. Because it is a very objective round, right? If you know, you will get good marks. If you don't study and come, you won't get marks. You are studying from 8 o'clock and you are continuously under stress. कि यार दिन में ठीक से सोया नहीं हूँ, रात में 11 बजे नींद आएगी, सुबह भी उठना है. You are also planning to study from 8 PM, but 6 to 7 hours. You have studied this whole time, you studied in stress. Why? Because you are studying near the finish line. This person has also studied 6 to 7 hours, but he has studied a lot stress-free. His absorption rate is much better than your absorption rate. Plus he will beat you. Why? Because अभी उसने 12 to 7, 8 पढ़ लिया, 9-10 बजे खूब मस्ती कर रहा है. तुम्हें बोला कि चलो खाना खिलाता हूँ फ्री में तुम्हें. तुम भी लालच में चले गए कि अनलिमिटेड थाली खिलाएगा. ठीक है, सो ही वेस्ट योर टाइम. तुम्हें लग रहा है कि अच्छा दुनिया ऐसे ही तैयारी कर रही है. व्हाट आर यू थिंकिंग? यू आर थिंकिंग ही इज शार्प. तुम क्या सोच रहे हो? ये तेज है, इसके नंबर आते हैं. ठीक है, दैट इज व्हाट यू आर थिंकिंग. That he is sharp, that is why, and therefore तुम सोच रहे हो ये भी नहीं पढ़ा, इसके तो 45 करेक्ट होते हैं, अब इसका तरीका अपनाती हूँ, मैं भी नहीं पढ़ता हूँ. तुम उसके साथ पार्टी कर रहे हो 12 बजे तक, और अगले दिन वो 2 घंटे पढ़ के रिवाइज करके हो गएगा, यार कुछ नहीं हुआ, मैं सुबह 2 घंटे पढ़ूंगा, एंड यू विल गेट ए 40-45, एंड यू विल ऑल्सो फॉलो हिज पाथ, एक्सेप्ट दैट रात का पूरा मिस कर दिया, सुबह आधे घंटे में पेजेस पलट के जा रहे हो. डोंट डू सच थिंग्स. फॉर द इफ यू हैव टू स्टडी, एक चीज समझ लो कि you have to put that much amount of effort. चाहे हंस के करो या रो कर करो. Whether you laugh about it or cry about it, I am telling you it is a good way. If you don't cry about it, you laugh about it, you study from 12 to 7, 8 under less stress rather than studying from 7 PM, 8 PM and then रात में stress में रहना, ठीक से सोना नहीं. वो रहेगा, but at least minimize it. Focus on whatever you can reduce the stress. जो कर सकते हो अपने हाथ में वो करो. All right? ठीक है, सो दैट इज ऑल फॉर टुडे. नहीं तो बहुत सारे रिंगटोन बजने लगेंगे. ठीक है, ऑल राइट. एंड इफ यू हैव एनी इश्यूज, यू कैन ऑलवेज राइट टू मी ऑन दिस ईमेल.